Right here at 5 tonight, the third trial of former Metro Police Detective Brett Hankison is coming to a close. His federal trial last year ended in a mistrial. Now, Brett Hankison, at times fighting through tears over the last 2 days, has finished several hours of testimony. The closing arguments on his future are just ahead. Happening within the last hour, the judge allowed the jury to go home, so it means it's going to be a full day tomorrow as the jury will hear the final arguments in this civil rights case. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. The former LMPD detective insists he fired shots into the side of Taylor's apartment to save his fellow officers. Up next, attorneys make their closing arguments to the jury, who will then begin deliberating his fate. Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are live following this case. So, Isaiah, what stood out most about Hankison's testimony?
Connie, the biggest thing right now is actually nothing Brett Hankison said. Just in the last hour, we know there is a looming question right now, and that is, will the defense in their closing arguments tomorrow bring up the argument of whether Breonna Taylor was even alive when Brett Hankison fired those shots into the side of her apartment? Why does this matter? The defense right now is making the argument that if she had already been killed when those shots were fired, she wouldn't have the constitutional rights to violate. Now, there is a lot here, and again, a lot will be made clearer tomorrow, but that is something that is kind of looming right now that we'll keep a close eye on. As for Brett Hankison, he did tell the jury today he had no other available option to him but to fire shots, saying he said it was either fire at the target or risk the lives of 5 officers in that breezeway. But that didn't stop federal prosecutors from grilling him on his actions during the March 2020 raid at Taylor's home. Today, they suggested Hankison guessed where the threat was when he fired 10 shots into her covered sliding glass door and window. Hankison is, of course, charged with violating the civil rights, again, of Taylor and her neighbors. He continues to say he thought his officers were being executed and that he acted to save their lives. As the jury prepares to get this case soon, I talked to attorney Nick Mudd of Mudd Legal Group about where things stand. He isn't involved in this case, but has followed Hankison's trials.
It's something that the jury, they'll think about what would they do in that position if they were being fired on. Would they just stand there? If they see their partner getting hit, would they just stand there and not fire back? I think that's going to be something that'll be weighed heavily in the jury room.
Sorry, we have some cars passing here. Meanwhile, Breonna Taylor supporters today set up a banner in her honor in front of the federal courthouse. And actually, just in the last few minutes, our senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton actually saw them come face to face with Brett Hankison as he was leaving the courtroom. Coming up here at 6, I will let you know the conversation I had with Breonna Taylor's mom, Tamika Palmer, earlier in that courtroom. I asked her how she felt about Brett Hankison taking the stand again. Her thoughts, again, coming up at 6 tonight. Doug, Connie.
Well, Isaiah, let's go back to that testimony then real quickly. He's given testimony now 3 times. We've covered all 3 of these cases. Is he sticking to the same points with this jury as in the past cases?
Doug, there has been some slight differences in testimony, although experts have told us they aren't super consequential. Brett Hankison originally in his last trial said he agreed there was no AR-15 style rifle involved in this case. Today, he said he cannot agree with that. So slight differences there. Doug, Connie.
All right, our coverage continues tonight at 6, and new developments in the 4-year fallout after Breonna Taylor's killing. Right now, there's a team from the Louisville mayor's office in Washington, D.C. currently negotiating with the U.S. Department of Justice on Louisville's oncoming consent decree. That decree comes after the DOJ found patterns of discrimination and use of excessive force within the LMPD and Metro government. With the mayor expecting the paperwork to be filed before the end of the year, these are some of the final talks that are underway at the moment. The city is ready to move forward in this process of federal oversight.
We want to get this done as soon as possible. I've spoken myself personally with Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark 3 times in the past 2 weeks to try to help move this process towards a speedy conclusion. We want to get it done quickly. We also want to get it done right, as does the United States Department of Justice.
Mayor Greenberg says some of the members negotiating in D.C. right now include representatives of the mayor's office as well as Metro Police. A federal judge will have to sign off on the decree before it becomes legal. Last year, WHAS11 News reported from New Orleans to see how the police department there has operated under a consent decree for several years and the challenges they've faced. What Louisville can expect moving forward, you can see our special report called Road to Reform on the WHAS11 YouTube page.
Today, the jury saw brand new video evidence in the Delphi murders trial. This time, they watched Richard Allen's interrogation. Richard Allen is accused of killing 2 young teen girls in Delphi, Indiana in 2017. He wasn't arrested until 5 years after the murders took place. And in his original police questioning video, jurors heard Allen deny his involvement over and over again. Allen admitted he was at the park the day the girls were murdered, but says he didn't talk to the girls. None of Allen's DNA was found at the scene. Testimony is still happening as jurors continue to see that interrogation video. And we'll continue to give you any updates to these 2 trials as they develop. For the latest sent straight to your phone, download our WHAS11 News app.
Well, I've got a question for Ben Pine here tonight. Ben, have you had to dust off the old weather journal, the manual handbook to figure out how to predict rain? Because it's been a long time around here.
I was wondering where that was going. Well, we do have Thursday rain. Unfortunately, the one rain chance we've had in over a month is going to be happening for our Halloween afternoon and evening time. We've got a lot more on that coming up. But summer-like out there still. 82, our official high, not far from the record of 84 that was set in 2016. So still in the upper 70s, lower 80s, like mid-September, like late summer out there. All upper 70s, lower 80s throughout the entire viewing area, and a mostly clear sky continues throughout the Ohio Valley and much of the eastern United States. So it'll stay warm this evening if you're going to be out and about. Plan on 70s through sunset. After sunset, some upper 60s, and temps won't drop off very much. Like this morning, we're starting off in the lower 60s, a mild start to our Wednesday, and tomorrow afternoon, just like today, upper 70s, lower 80s, sunshine, a bit breezy with that south wind, keeping our temps about 15 above normal and not far from those record highs. So clear and mild. Tonight's low 62 degrees, 73 at noon tomorrow, and that forecast high at 81 with a mostly sunny sky for tomorrow afternoon. We do have that rain chance for the last day of October for Halloween. We'll show you what to expect and time it out hour by hour coming up in our Weather Impact Team forecast.
Thank you, Ben. Right now, Metro Police are working to figure out what led to a deadly shooting in Valley Station. It happened just after midnight at an apartment complex on 8 Bells Lane. Officers say they found a man with gunshot wounds inside an apartment there. That man died at the scene. There are no known suspects right now, but if you know anything about the shooting, you're asked to call 574 LMPD. Well, the ATF and Kentucky Crime Stoppers need your help finding stolen guns.
They're now offering up to $3,000 for any tips that help them recover the weapons. Court documents show Metro Police recovered at least 126 of them just this year alone. But as our Ian Hardwick and photojournalist Jessica Farley found out today, hundreds more stolen weapons are reportedly out there on the streets.
There's really only one reason to steal a gun, right? Is to commit another crime.
LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey says finding stolen guns before they're used to commit crimes is important. It's why he supports a new partnership offering up to $3,000 to track down those weapons. So the ATF and Kentucky Crime Stoppers have offered $1,000 each for info leading to recovery of a stolen gun, with $500 for each extra gun found as a result.
And we never know the person's name, and we do not have caller ID. So it is, when we say anonymous, that's what it is, and our phones are answered 24 hours a day.
ATF Special Agent in Charge Sean Morrow shared over 1,000 guns go missing in Louisville each year.
One of the things that we do is encourage gun owners to record their firearm information and make sure to have it in a safe place. So they have the manufacturer, they have the caliber, they have the serial number.
Because without those records, police don't know if a gun is stolen.
We know that there's a large portion that come from cars. We encourage our community to make sure they lock their vehicles up. Again, that goes with the same theme about safe storage. Don't leave your firearm unattended.
Oftentimes, arrests for stolen guns come with additional charges for drugs, reckless driving, or possession of a firearm by a felon. That overlap happened back in April here on Taylor Boulevard near Churchill Downs when police arrested a man for murder who also had a stolen firearm. However, they weren't able to say whether or not it was used in the crime because it's still under investigation. Chief Humphrey says by taking stolen guns, it interrupts a violent cycle of crime.
Every time that we are able to get a crime gun off the street, that's another victim that we're protecting.
In Louisville, Ian Hardwick, WHAS11, on your side.
Well, the guns are destroyed once they're recovered. Anyone with information on the stolen guns can call into the Kentuckiana Crime Stoppers tip line. Again, it's 502-582-CLUE.